Ohio. So I have this book here, Beast and Man. I read this book a long time ago, The Roots of Human Nature. It's a super good book, and I think more people should read it, especially if you come from a background of biology or evolutionary psychology or any kind of evolutionary theorizing, because this book kind of goes against a lot of evolutionary theorizing. So on one hand, she talks about how there's a tendency for us to conflate the human experience or consciousness with the raw behavioral patterns that are seen in evolution, right? We kind of collapse our individuality, our humanity, into just simply evolution, and she kind of pushes against that in this book. But also, the book The Beast and Man, she talks about the understanding of humans in the context of animals. So a lot of philosophers provided us with theories of human nature that are still prevalent today, that were understood as a result of contrasting us to animals. Descartes gave a view about language being unique to humans, and that's what makes us the rational animal. Hobbes talked about how society could put restraints on us with his Leviathan, and that takes us away from a state of nature that you would see most common in wild beasts. There's a lot of philosophers who have views where their understanding of humans is a result of contrasting it to animals. Now, those philosophers, despite their prevalency, are wrong in a lot of cases because their understanding of animals wasn't scientific, right? They didn't have a lot of modern research that gave us better insights into animals. And so what she does is she actually looks at that research and finds, well, if you look at what these animals really are, she talks about how there's moral codes amongst wolves, for example, or how gorillas and monkeys have moral codes that they follow, and that these animals do have the problem of evil because there is a sense of evil doing in their communities. Or if you look at language, for example, dolphins could arguably have a language. The bee dance could arguably be a kind of language. And so it's not that what makes men rational is language, because animals do have that. So she talks about how there's a lot of misunderstandings about human nature as a result of comparing us to animals, with the idea that those animals are not the scientific representation of what those animals actually are. It's like a misunderstanding of animals. So that's one of the core ideas in this book, and I think that's a really, really good thing. She also talks about torture and how that's uniquely human, and so we should be very careful to actually say things like that humans are the more moral species, for example. If you come from an evolutionary background, or if you're really into evolution, I strongly recommend giving this book a read because it's going to challenge you on a lot of your notions about humans and their relationship to other animals, assuming you haven't come from like an animal behavior background. With that being said, gule gule.